So we all know and love Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, right? Well, except that one guy, but he's not ready for that conversation yet. You know, the game that is so well made it justifies the sky-high price tag so its audience gets their complete money's worth. I'm sorry to make that joke, but man, this game is just like a wee bit pricey. But that's just not what I'm here to talk about, and I promise I will never be a review channel officially. These two videos were just made for fun. Hi, I'm Snack. And if you don't know me, I love to make challenge videos on Sonic games. And if you do know me, you're going to be wondering why I switched up my intro this time. Normally I make videos on modded challenges like Ringless Shadow Generations, or game reworks like Chaos Polarity or like a Werehog. I've made some vanilla challenges, and today we're doing another. You know how gadgets add a super unique spin on how CrossWorlds works? You can use them to add a new gimmick to how you play, improve a general stat, or just use them to offset the weaknesses caused by your vehicle type. Like how extreme gears take ages to recover, speed vehicles ironically take ages to speed up, and acceleration vehicles just can't seem to make a basic turn. Well, I decided it would be smart to try and defeat a max level rival in the Grand Prix without using any gadgets. On supersonic speed, and of course we all agreed supersonic and restarting races was to be banned as well, and so long as I used no gadgets, everything was fine. We also all agreed that this challenge was a stupid idea, but you know me, I went ahead with it anyway. So there was hardly any prep needing done for this, no resources online or anything, since it was just inefficient to play like this, so the best approach was just to go in raw, no sauce, no lube, no nothing. I figured speed would be the best approach for this. If you're not getting much out of abilities or gimmicks, usually speed is the way to go. It's why so many easy time trial guides use it. You don't need to do much, and it just works. Shadow and Blaze are neck and neck when it comes to base stats, and they are both the best for speed in general. Using either of their cars, or Sonic's base car, will provide 80 speed, which without gadgets is the highest you can get. Other stats are fairly important, so for the first few attempts we opted for Super Shining, which is Supersonic's car, unlocked once you beat all the race park rivals twice, any diff. It provided a better stat balance overall than the other cars. So, I picked the easiest Grand Prix to start off with, and we took off. I have no gadgets, what more do you want from me? The first race went really well, the car felt good to drive, and honestly not having any gadgets really didn't feel that bad. Though, E-Stadium is hardly a difficult level, so it wasn't going to prove anything. Magma Planet, however, would. I tried to stay on the ground as much as possible since the car has better handling grounded, and then lap 3 was pretty clean for the most part, until the end of the lap where things got a little dicey. I hate it here! No, Rouge, you cannot be ahead! Get out! No! Okay, right. But luckily, we managed to overtake Rouge right at the end, and the challenge is completed. Yes, you can in fact beat a max rival without gadgets. Case closed. Now, I was well aware that luck played a big factor in that race, and knew it wasn't going to last forever. I gave myself a huge advantage during lap 1 by looking back and throwing a shuriken right at her. Pretty good shot. Not something you pull off every day. If you need a guide, you can just Google Rouge backshots to find out more. Rouge managed to overtake me during the crossworld, but it didn't last too long since I was blessed by solid positioning and a huge fucking jump from the balloon to easily get her to fall behind again. She took a hit during the last lap, but again, the blessing of a laser wisp at the tight turn at the end let me sneak ahead. And well, things were looking really good since I was top spot on the leaderboard. Now you know what they say, once is by chance, twice is a coincidence, but 3 times. 3 times is a pattern. Could we keep it up? Well, no. Water Palace is straight up not a hard stage since most of it is literally a straight fucking line and easiest boat section ever, as well as opening the floodgates for some nutty shortcuts like using a laser on the ramp or boosting over the grass. Now Rouge 100% knew what she was doing when instead of going to Holoscus she went to fucking 3D Terraria, but as much as I don't really like this stage, saving a laser for the end was a great help. But me being the idiot that I am somehow missed a super power up and then had nothing to defend myself with when my car got chainsawed into 2 clean pieces. And then not only did Rouge come as first as a result, I came third. Suffice to say, it's not looking good. The only way I was going to win this now was if, well, I actually beat Rouge. Front running is not a valid strategy at all since the rivals basically use hacks and shoot ahead. But also sandbagging is unreliable too because it's all luck based and the rival, again, hacks, so will always have the upper hand. Unless you're front running, which you simply just can't do. So as expected, I experienced every guy's dream and got dominated by Rouge, so we had to revisit. This will not taint my legacy, if I can help it. I analysed some other characters with speed stats and opted to try Espio, but it was also evident that I was dogshit at the game. But it was also evident that the rival choice played a big part in the challenge too, since with Charmy as the rival, being an acceleration character along with a scarily good set of stats, this was not happening. Yeah, I got my ass beat, bro. I'm not posting that shit. And again, I tried it as Sonic using Speedster Lightning and got iced by Zavok on the first race, so maybe speed wasn't the play. Zavok was like scarily tough to beat, and I was convinced by chat that Zavok was the play here, so next attempt I chose Zavok, still using Super Shining. And what do you know, it was far more effective. The stat balancing was much better, and higher power allowed for a quicker recovery time when getting hit. And E-Stadium was practically flawless. Even though Storm won Rainbow Garden, I was still ahead since he was so far behind during the first race. It's really hard to slow down high power builds, and this one balanced out the speed really well. And this was proven by how easy race 3 was when I got slimed at the end, and it didn't do very much to my speed. I was 10 points in the lead by this point, so even if Storm did come first, I only needed to be 4th or better, and I'd win. Plumbing through E-Stadium, getting Fruity through Rainbow Garden, and then making sure Storm kicks his last rock in Water Palace. This one was in the bag from race 3 anyway. So yeah, challenge over, see you in the next one, bye.
I was sucking dick.
So basically this was done in less than an hour, which we weren't really going to sit there going, holy shit boys, we won, let's go! So we decided to expand the challenge a little further. Next up we decided we were going to follow a kind of Nuzlocke rule system, and we must win with each character types. Power already beaten, of course. We agreed that we could not repeat a rival that we already beat, and we could not repeat a Grand Prix that we already beat. Of course, there is only one boost character as of this video, meaning next up was Miku. It was honestly tough to choose which vehicle to use with Miku since, well, if you ask me, boost is without question the absolute most useless stat since all it does is slightly increase your drift charge speed, but without gadgets to prove your drifting ability, boost might prove to be useful. And with speed vehicles still providing good speed and handling, I opted to stick with Super Shining. I went for Pumpkin Grand Prix next. I really hate Pumpkin Mansion as a stage, but Crystal Mine and Ocean View are really good, and I'm very comfortable with those stages. Of course, that didn't matter since the Ninja Star just decides to not work going through a portal, but that's a whole different problem I wasn't ready to address just quite yet. And while the first race was just a 2nd place finish, the rest of the cup didn't go great. There was a debate on whether this tornado actually hit me, but to be honest at this point I was prepared to blame anything instead of my own skill, because like, no matter how good you are, you will get shafted so easily in Grand Prix. Reluctantly continuing through Pumpkin Mansion, well, this went as good as you can imagine. It was nice to have an easy stage like E-Stadium as the CrossWorld, but then towards the end I clipped the grass with a fucking ball hair and then got crushed by a monster truck, so naturally with a placement like that, I just caved and started again. So after visiting my therapist for the 3rd time this week already, I came back with a fresh mindset, and without changing my approach at all, I opted for Boom Boost Cup, and making the smart decision of still facing a power type rival with boosted recovery time on top of the fact that they use hacks. Like, you are not convincing me they do otherwise. Yeah, after slipping between the boost panel and the 100 rings, there was just nothing I could do here. Trying the same cup again with the exact same build, I have to admit that it was lucky to get Aqua Road as the CrossWorld because I'm pretty good at that stage, but then a 4th place finish wasn't looking good. Luckily, Omega didn't come first, so it was the same as the point difference as being 1st and 2nd. Well, he suddenly appeared in front of me out of fucking nowhere, and this was my full realization that front running was never going to work. Could I ice Omega in the next race? Well, no, but I could try, and that's what counts. I decided to not actively try to get ahead all the time and make a proper attempt at sandbagging to see if it would actually work. Now luckily I got the S rank on Golden Temple first try, so it was nice and easy to get a good lead and put myself into a comfortable position to start lap 3, 2nd place with a Yakker to hand. Now my smart ass decided to use an aggressive tornado at the end and then, you guessed it, fumbled the end. I still beat Omega, but he still had a 4-point lead, so I had to come first overall. This game sent me back £80 by the way. My actual full attempt against Jet started off being completely free since he came 6th. Don't get too excited, it's only a 3-point lead, because I managed to almost create a miracle and then ended up 1 point behind at the end. Alright, so I took a step back and I figured out which rival would realistically be the easiest to face with this build. And I figured handling would work, so Amy was the next target, and we swapped to the Coral Grand Prix, which started off well, but as it ended... Oh, right, okay, that's fine. But as it ended, I asked, was a 5-point lead still possible? Well, anything is possible. Race 2 went very well. I got first with Amy very far behind, but no one is going to sit here and tell me that the Grand Prix is fair, because how is it that as soon as I hit Amy and take first place, the King Boom Boost suddenly appears and hits me? Yeah, checkmate liberals. Amy was really far ahead on the last lap, but the strat was clear. I needed to maintain these rings and keep up my speed. You know what they say? Get your money up, not your funny up. I saved the Ninja Star to hit Amy and, well...
Anyways, my broskies, I gotta bounce.
But thankfully, the shield I had defended me from the weight Whipple and still let it hit Amy. Just what I needed to finally win his boost. So now, no more Amy, and no more Coral Town. I ended up choosing Wave for the acceleration character, and rather than choosing, well, her own board, I ended up choosing Diva Machina, which was poetic to an extent, given that I just won as Miku. Since acceleration is valuable when your power is low, I figured the rest of the stats would be okay, and since Jet's raw speed doesn't counteract the low power too well, I faced him again. I only got 3rd on the first stage, but I wasn't going to complain about it because I really don't like Blizzard Valley. Radical Highway was a much better stage, purely because of how you can just use the sides of the bridge to skip the huge jump, which of course I didn't end up doing. Jet going ahead and displaying his hacking a little more at the end, I had a speed stat of 60 and 100 rings. Trust me, you'd tweak the fuck out too. Race 3 wasn't looking good either, but as I'm sure you figured out by now, this challenge isn't exactly 100% dependent on skill. Oh, this could be it, this could be it.
Get my guy for your green cunt.
Yes! 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 Yeah! I was told that silver was the best option for a handling type. Hate me all you want, but I've never been a big fan of silver, like, at all. And by this point, I've only ever used speed or power characters in casual play, so I had no idea of how this was going to go. I opted for Cyberspace as the car of choice since it gave a good balance of all the stats. Well, except boost, but everything else is good, so let's just pretend this was a smart choice. Zavok was our rival, and we went for the Wisp Cup, but I already had no hope with Zavok. Item hoarding isn't smart here. As soon as you have any form of reasonable opportunity to use your items, you should really just use it, because it can save you from grave danger where you'd normally have gadgets to protect you. Like, here, it's a simple example, but you have to play defensive, so I used up a green rocket to stop a red rocket. It was looking kinda good towards the end with the King Boom Boo heading to the end, but then, after the race ended, I realised that the Boom Boo didn't actually hit Zavok, conveniently being fired after Zavok wasn't in first place. God, I love this game. But yeah, to the utter shock and horror of absolutely no one, that race failed. I kept the same car, but faced SBO instead since my luck with him was terrible, so I hoped the rival would be too. And then, I noticed something about Silver's voice lines. To be honest, there's about another 30 to 40 minutes of this VOD of me just failing, so I'm gonna fast forward to when I was actually making some form of progress. Spoiler alert, Silver wasn't the play. On day 2, I picked up Sonic's car using Rouge, stuck with the Wisp Cup but faced Wave instead. After getting steamrolled by Charmy earlier in the challenge, you'd think I learned my lesson on facing an acceleration character when I picked Wave to face off against, but her being on an extreme gear offsets being a full-on acceleration opponent. Now, I do have to ask who at Sega approved Rouge as a character in this game because, like, what actually are these noises when she does tricks? Race 1 wasn't great. I came fourth and Wave predicted the future in her response. Well, we think. A good thing about Radical Highway is, again, the sides of the bridge. You will simply overtake anyone who takes the normal route. Anyway, I came first on race 2, so this put me in much better stead for the rest of the cup, except for when I just didn't think there would be a hazard after this turn, but whatever. So now Wave has a 9-point lead. Is it even worth continuing? Absolutely not. Locked in big for the next attempt, and this went a lot better. Power characters in power vehicles really don't work too great together since the quick recovery is pretty much all they have, and because rivals quick recover anyway, they don't really have too much else going for them. I got the biggest blessing ever, and Big was hit by King Boom right at the end of the last lap on Metal Harbor, so that was such an easy win there. It seemed like for once the rival was actually taking damage from my items. It's as if when you can't really see what's happening at the rival, they won't take damage, honestly. But in this race, Big was second and I was third. Not the worst outcome. The laser whiff during the CrossWorlds was the absolute saving grace to use the truck off the track and skip over that turn. For the rest of Colourful Mall, I was neck and neck with Big, neatly used the final shortcut to overtake him, and then, well, I had a 6-point lead on Big, so I just had to come second to cause a draw, and then that was me done, right? Well, that was in the instance of Big coming first, which, thank fuck he didn't because I came third. Just speed to go. I decided Jet was the best choice for ending the challenge with. Except, I don't want to beat the challenge as Jet. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, let's race.
Yeah, just kidding. Sonic and Knuckles I felt was a poetic way to end this off, so that's what I opted for. Race 1 was looking grim, but this shortcut right here is the fucking reason I love this stage the most. But then, it got worse again towards the end when I fell off the Squid Bridge. Thankfully, I was lucky enough to get a monster truck, and for Knuckles to not come first. Cream is pretty much the real rival here. North Star Islands is a pretty straightforward stage with some nice shortcuts. It's been really nice to see Sega creating some original stages for this game, but I feel they could have done better with the design choice here. This wasn't a whole lot better. I was dumb enough to just not do anything about what happened at the end. Not like I could do much, but hey, at least me being second behind Knuckles in first wasn't the worst outcome. And Whitespace Lap 1 is always a fun choice. The water section isn't the most convenient ever, but it is really nice to be able to play a bit defensive on an open track. And no one can sit here and tell me that Hidden World doesn't sound like fucking Tattoo music. Anyway, yeah.
It's not a war crime if you had fun.
So I don't know how this happened, but we went to Digital Circuit for the first CrossWorld, and at this turn I fell, figuring that the run was dead. But then as I went on, I noticed that Zaz was still fucking back at the same turn that I fell at. It did still screw me up since I came 7th. If I placed higher, this would normally have been free, but this was only a 5-point lead. Level 10 rival, by the way. And this is what I mean. If I did better, I'd have been in a great spot. And despite hitting Zaz a few times, he still got first, and I got third in the next race, so the points were just balanced out. Only me, yes, me, could fumble so badly because it happened again in whitespace. And then some actions led to a valid crash out because where the fuck did my speed go? Like, how does this make any sense whatsoever? Then again, that was the easiest obstacle in the world to avoid, so I kind of deserved it. Get the fuck out of here, man! That was my game! But I wasn't prepared to throw in the table just yet.
Just stop losing.
It's okay though, I'm still balling. Wait, no, I don't think I am. I should have got a wisp there. Not a wisp, a laser. Well, a laser wisp, you know what I mean. Nah, Zaz, you ain't shit. Get the fuck out of here. That's right. That's not fair, that's so not fair. Okay. Yes! Oh my god, right. Oh, this is big.
No, that's sad.
Damn, they made an original stage for this game and they gave it Sunset Heist music? Crazy. Oh shit. Nope. Fuck, right. No, it's okay. Sandbagging is actually really worth it. Good, that kind of worked. That was really ineffective, but it worked. I fell off the ground. Are you... I'm gonna shit myself, like actually. Oh, something's going for Zaz. Did you... What?! You have actually got to be shitting me. You got the luckiest. That was the luckiest bomb ever.
No, I'm not doing you, Snack.
Oh man, I hate it here. No, I did that in time. You know what, right? You know what? I'm just so glad I'm ahead of Zaz. Right, Zaz came second, I came third. Okay. I know, right? Holy crap, come on. Yes, I fucking did it.
Dance for me.
Nah.
I'll suck your dick.
So, can you beat a max level rival without gadgets? Yes, you absolutely can. But, before you attempt this yourself, just ask yourself, what will I actually gain from this? But, does this mean that you could do this on your first ever time playing the game? Theoretically, yes. So, to anyone who hasn't played CrossWorlds yet, you have no excuse. This video took a really long time to make, so any and all support is much appreciated. Leave a like if you enjoyed, drop a comment down below if you want, I love reading them, and subscribe to see more videos like this. I was surprised to have even come up with a challenge idea for this game, so if you guys have any other ideas, be sure to let me know and I'll give them a shot. We play a ton of CrossWorlds over on Twitch and often have open lobbies going, so make sure to come by and say hi, and one of those spots could be yours. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, so there's plenty of opportunities to hop in. We're also shooting for 1,000 followers over there. And also hoping to reach 3,000 on YouTube before the end of the year. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I'll leave my other links down below, like my Blue Sky, the newly made Instagram, and my Discord server. Check them out. Big thanks to hweilla and Makon for the thumbnail, and that's about all from me. My name is Snack, and I'll see you in the next one.
Excuse me, ma'am. Did you order pizza? She gonna look at me up and down, see the abs chiseling and busting through the armor, see the BHE slightly protruding to the left, and just pull me in. The pizza box flies. She says, wait a minute, there's no pizza.